Nightfall in Indianapolis, and we are ready for the nightcap. There is Brad Brownell, longest tenured head coach in the history of the program, also their all-time winningest head coach. Indiana native, grew up in Evansville, just shy of a 3-hour drive from where we are here. Here's how our two teams will start. Wendy's starting lineups. Al-Amir Dawes will make the start for Brownell. Mentioned Amir Sims at the top. And meantime, Miles Johnson will line up across from him. There is Steve Pikiell. And you just can't say enough about what this man has built, really from scratch, when you consider what he inherited in New Brunswick when he took the job in March of 2016. Let's get more on Pikiell and the Scarlet Knights with Lauren Jahadi.
Yeah, nobody on this Rutgers team was even born yet. Last time they made it to the NCAA tournament, their coach joked that, gosh, my guys keep asking me, who was president 30 years ago? How's that for feeling old? It was at the same arena last year at the Big Ten tournament when Rutgers was told, pack your bags, go home, season's over because of the pandemic. So when they heard they were going dancing, they FaceTimed last year's seniors to include them in the celebration. By the way, George H.W. Bush, the president, last time Rutgers made the tournament, but you knew that.
Just an incredible emotional story when you hear Pikiell tell it. You know, when they got the news that the Big Ten tournament was canceled here, they all assumed that they would at least have the NCAA tournament. Then that was canceled. We'll tell you more about that story as the night goes on. But they are here finally. And Clemson, the team that they find across the way. Rutgers begins with possession, and they feed the big fella down in the box. Miles Johnson poked away. Nicely done by Hunter Tyson. And Rutgers with the early turnover.
And that's what Clemson does in the half court. They're active with their hands. They force turnovers 20% of the time. So if you're not careful with that ball and you don't protect it, Clemson will dig that ball out of there.
It's a Clemson team that won 16 games. They finished 10-6 in the ACC. And this is the guy it's built all around. Amir Sims, the kick out. Tyson inside, and he's turned back by Johnson. And that'll be a shot clock violation. Excellent defensive start for both teams.
Both teams play very good defense. Both teams sometimes have problems scoring. And for Clemson, the magic number is 66. They're 11-0 when they get 66 points. The problem is that's not always the case, and so sometimes they struggle to get to that number, only averaging about 70 points on the season scoring-wise. So Clemson has to find a way to generate some offense, and normally that's going through Mr. Sims.
This is a Rutgers team that began the season ranked in the preseason AP poll for the first time since the late 70s, and boy, did they build on that number. That's Geo Baker, Steve Pikiell's first recruit when he took the job. And boy, his program has been built around that man, the senior from Derry, New Hampshire. And he gets the party started for Rutgers.
That's good defense right there, not letting Sims get good post position inside, fighting for position, getting the hand in there, not just standing behind the post. I like what Rutgers doing, but Clemson trying to get out and score an easy one before that defense gets set.
Good pass across the way, and that is Al-Amir Dawes. He's a New Jersey product. He grew up in Newark. Played his high school ball at the Patrick School in Elizabeth, a school that has produced some of the top basketball talent we've seen over the past couple of decades. Taking on his hometown team, the big early bucket. Harper's three, no. And it's last touched by Rutgers.
Nice kick out right here. Baker knows what to do with it. No hesitation at all. Let it fly. He's confident. You see him looking at the bench. He's swagged out, and whatever you can do, Mr. Baker, I can do better. Coming back the other way.
It's the early feeling out process. The two teams unfamiliar with each other as we get a bumping foul here. It'll be the first on Miles Johnson, who's become such an important piece for Steve Pikiell's bunch. But Brendan, you know what this is like. The NCAA tournament, you know, you're facing teams you haven't scouted much, haven't watched during the course of the season. Trying to get acclimated.
Yeah, and it's also tough when you have the last game of the day. You've been sitting around your hotel room watching games, and
no doubt.
you just really want to get into it. So these teams might be a little bit shaky to start off.
Sims turnaround, no. Big one coming up down the stretch. North Texas and Purdue, another potential upset. And you can watch the conclusion of that game on TNT.
My Tar Heels took one on the chin today, Spiro.
Yes, they did.
I'm not very happy right now.
I didn't want to go there, but I've sensed your emotional level is a little low.
Yeah, man, I wasn't happy about that at all.
We'll see if we could lift your spirits. Shot clock at 5. Harper probing inside, taking contact.
Man, he's a big, powerfully built, hybrid type of forward, man. When you see him on TV, you don't realize just how big and long this guy is.
Harper grew up in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, played his high school ball at Don Bosco Prep. All-conference player in the Big Ten as Sims again draws contact. And already starting to wreak a little bit of havoc against that Rutgers front court. It's on Paul Mulcahy, his first.
And you see Harper likes to get downhill. I asked Harper what's his go-to move yesterday when we got a chance to sit down and talk with this young man. He said, listen, man, I just like to get downhill. I was waiting for him to say something about a step back or a crossover. He was like, nah, I like to get downhill and attack the defense. And that's exactly what he did on that play right there.
Harper talked about all the emotions of experiencing what they did last year and getting the tournament back, finally getting here. Let's get more on him now with Lauren.
Number 1, Jonathan Baird. Number 4, Nick Palmer, check in.
All right, having a little bit of audio issues with Lauren's mic. We'll get to her as quickly as we can. All tied at 5, just under 4 minutes gone by. From Bankers Life Fieldhouse, home of the NBA's Indiana Pacers. This incredible venue, the site for Rutgers and Clemson. Harper coming, looking for more, not that time, and the rebound corralled by Sims.
Look at Sims leading the break. That's why he leads this team in so many offensive categories. He can go get that rebound, then he'll start the break, might get an assist if you're sleeping.
Sims that time dribbles it off of the foot, the officials say, of Johnson. And so the Tigers will retain when we come back. Early stages, some early fireworks at both ends. Rutgers and Clemson. Which of these two teams will keep their dream alive tonight? Unbelievably delicious Coca-Cola Cherry Vanilla. Something this good should be out of bounds, but it isn't. So great to have you with us. Spiro Dedes, Brendan Haywood, Lauren Shahadi, Gene Steratore. As we throw it downstairs to Lauren, what do you have?
Well, Ron Harper Jr. told me yesterday that the late, great Kobe Bryant was a teammate of his dad's, and he met Kobe as a young kid. I said, what advice did he give you? Ron said, he told me, whenever you touch the basketball, just shoot it. Shoot now. You can always learn to pass later. Good advice, Brendan?
Oh, man, that's excellent advice. That's the most Kobe advice ever. Like, Kobe lived by that.
Kobe's Lakers were in New York to take on the Knicks. Not far from where Harper was playing his high school basketball across the Hudson in New Jersey. And it's still odd to refer to Kobe as the late, great. Al-Amir Sims off the inbounds. And he is picked up right where he left off. This kid has just been a star for the Tigers this season.
Yeah, Sims has been tough. He's given them everything that they need and then some. And like I said, he gives you the points, the rebounds, but at the same time, he's a big that can average 3 assists as well.
Sims the rebound, and now the officials are going to say that Jacob Young shoved him. Young can't believe it. Almost looked like inadvertent contact from his own teammate Nick Honor. But the Tigers catch a break. But just to kind of expound on... That's Clifford Omorie, actually, who the officials get on the whistle, and that's his first. So Omorie checking in for Peichel. But the Sims, Brendan, the only major conference Division I player to lead his team in points, rebounds, assists, and blocks. Here he is again. Baseline jumper won't go. Oh, by the way, he shoots 40% from deep.
He's just a matchup nightmare because he does a little bit of everything. And this year, even more than last season, because he was playing the 5 last. I mean, he's playing the 4 last year. Now they're playing him a lot at the 5, so it becomes harder for teams to guard him. Creates more spacing.
Young trying to find some daylight against Nick Honor. Cross-court pass Mulcahy, 5 to shoot. Harper Sneaking underneath, taking on some contact, and he puts it down. Just too much upper body strength. And Harper with his second bucket.
I like the poise right there. He didn't rush. He understood he had his man right where he wanted him. Got the ball, got low, and powered straight through.
Clyde Trapp and Jonathan Baer have checked in for Brad Brownell. This is Honor. Sims calling for it. Well, he's old school, the way he likes to pound it on the block. Little baby hook shot with the left, rolls off, no. And Rutgers corrals with Omarier.
Yeah, Sims isn't afraid to bang down there. Like I said, he's unique because he has the finesse game, but at the same time, he'll give you 2 bounces and get right to that jump hook.
Mulcahy. Three-pointer from the corner won't go. And the rebound tracked down by Baer. Open look at a three. Hemingway from deep.
Hello.
Still wearing that mask. He suffered a broken nose not too long ago. The sophomore, Indiana native, gives the Tigers a 3-point lead.
Rutgers goes for a nice little horn set right here. Let's see if they can take advantage of it.
That's a carrying violation and another Rutgers turnover. Well, you can watch live games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today. Clemson will bring it the length of the floor. Up the floor to Hemingway. Some light full court press by the Scarlet Knights, and now they fall back.
Now let's see where Clemson goes for offense now that Sims isn't in the game. Everything has been predicated on Sims getting the ball early on. Now let's see if they can generate a good shot.
Well, this kid Honor has hit some big shots for them. Game winner against Georgia Tech earlier this season. As Rutgers coughs it up again. Trapp ahead of the pick, and he's coming with the heat. And then Rutgers throws it away. Honor the steal. So the Scarlet Knights get a little bit sloppy with it. Clemson has opened up a 5-point lead. 12 and change left.
Harper! Oh, no. Oh,
nasty.
Hold up now, Mr. Harper. You got me out of my seat up here. He woke me up now. Now that's a highlight right there.
Ron Harper eviscerating that Clemson defense.
Oof.
And he puts P.J. Hall on a poster. And he'll have a chance at 3. Young man who can score at all 3 levels. He's already proven that.
Man,
My goodness.
Ron Harper Jr. taking flight like young Ron Harper Sr. People forget when Ron Harper Sr. first got to the league, he was definitely catching bodies at the rim. They remember older and Laker Bulls Ron Harper. No. You got to go back to the Cleveland Cavs Ron Harper. He was dunking on people just like his son.
His proud papa, no doubt, watching Ron Jr. tonight. Father, 15-year NBA career, member of 5 NBA championship teams with Chicago and the Lakers.
Wow, you said 5 championships?
Yes, sir. Montez Mathis is the man whistled. That'll be his first.
I'm so jealous. 5 championships, man. Some guys have all the luck.
You got 1 at least.
I do have 1. I feel fortunate to have that one. But 5. That's a lot of parades.
Well, Harper Jr. will sit here, as will Omarier. Clemson with possession and a 3-point lead as we come up on the 12-minute mark before halftime. Al-Amir Dawes pulls up, hit that early 3. Not that time. This is Baker, poked away by Dawes. Well played defensively. Now to Mulcahy, who will reset. They feed the post. There's Caleb McConnell on the catch, and then a quick whistle. And we'll get a timeout. 11:35 left.
Ooh.
And some early game fireworks at both ends. Harper expressing himself on the net.
Adam Zucker back in New York with the Geico Game Break. North Texas had never won an NCAA tournament game. Tied at the end of regulation, and James Reese for the win. No, but they go to overtime, and the Mean Green has scored the first 7 points of OT. Back to Spiro, Brendan, and Lauren.
Boy, what a day it's been already, Adam. Thanks. So much talk this year about the Big Ten being probably the best conference in basketball, but they have taken it on the chin. Ohio State in a stunner earlier today, knocked off by Oral Roberts. Wow.
Yeah, and the Big Ten, they have had the best teams to me. But sometimes you get to the tournament, it's a one-game setting, and you never know what can happen. You have some nerves. You take on somebody that's hot, and that's what college basketball is all about. That's the beauty.
It's the beauty of this tournament, one and done. As Geo Baker hitting that deep two in the corner. Sims trying to go backdoor that time. Unable to locate Chase Hunter.
42, Jacob Hill back in now for Rutgers.
Both these teams still trying to feel each other out, settle in offensively. We knew this game might not be pretty from an offensive standpoint just because of the amount of points that they average, but I think as we get farther and farther into this game, we're going to see these teams get a little bit more relaxed in that feeling out process. But right now, it's a little bit ragtag, a little bit of a rock fight.
Told you about Sims. He's a three-point threat, better than 40%. 3 to shoot. Sims on the fade, no. Well played by Johnson, and the rebound corralled by Mulcahy.
Yeah, Johnson did his job on that. The Rutgers coaching staff will take that all day long. Sims fading away from the basket with a contested two from Johnson. You'll live with those type of shots.
Open look, Mathis. Offensive rebound underneath. And finally, first Rutgers Scarlet Knight other than Baker or Harper to score. That's Caleb McConnell. And he's given the Scarlet Knights a 1-point lead.
And Caleb McConnell's a little bit of an X factor for this team. He does a little bit of everything. Whatever his coaches need him to do, he finds a way to get it done.
Junior from Jacksonville, Florida. Boy, Newman turned back at the rim.
And that's what you're supposed to do if you're a big fella. Don't let anybody come down your lane and think they're going to be able to eat for free. You got to deny them at the door. You're not allowed to come in.
Rutgers charging a cover tonight. Rise and fire, Hunter.
A very expensive cover at that if Mr. Johnson is going to be the bouncer.
Mulcahy. Clemson, a nice job to get back. As we hit the midway point, first half, Rutgers and Clemson still feeling each other out. Scarlet Knights holding a 1-point lead. Johnson calling for it. A come to double from the back. Sims pokes it away, has the steal. Beautifully played by Amir Sims.
And that's what Clemson does in the half court, man. They do a great job of shrinking the court. They have active hands. They really force a lot of turnovers just because they are aggressive.
Here's Tyson to the cup. No. Everything but the finish. Mathis in the transition. He can't put it down.
They're letting them play out there today.
Clemson.
One more.
Open look. Tyson got it.
I didn't know if he was going to give it up right away. Looked like he wanted to pump fake it to keep it for himself, but eventually he saw Tyson in the corner.
Tyson, the junior North Carolina kid, 16 points each of their last 2 games. Best 2-game scoring stretch of his career. Young man playing with confidence. Mathis taking on contact, and he will step to the free throw line for 2.
Yeah, right there, Dawes. I thought Dawes was going to hold it for a second. He thought about it, but then he saw his man Tyson in the corner for the 3-ball corner pocket. You could always, whenever you get a corner 3, those are the type of shots that you love. I know analytics people talk about that. Corner 3s, layups and dunks, that's where you want to live from an offensive standpoint. So anytime you see a shoot open in the corner, you got to let that thing fly.
Brendan, this is the part of the game that has really been an adventure for Rutgers. Worst major conference team in terms of free throw shooting this season, only 63% overall.
Oh, wow.
And they were just barely 57% on the road this season. And hoping that doesn't come back to haunt them tonight.
And that type of statistic will really hurt you in close ball games when it's nip and tuck and you have to hit free throws to seal a game or ice it or to get back into a ball game. If you're a 63% free throw shooting team as a unit, that line can be not the place where you want to be in tight ball games.
So here is Clemson. Told you earlier, 16-7 on the season. Sprinted out of the gates, won 9 of their first 10. Beat some of the top competition in the country. Air ball on a 3 by Hunter, and it goes back to the Scarlet Knights. Oh, the Big Red Balls are back. John Cena and Nicole Byer host brand new episodes of Wipeout on TBS. Don't miss the all-new season on a whole new network. April the 1st on TBS. Now, part of that 9-1 start, they beat 4 teams that finished the season in the final AP poll. Purdue, Alabama, Virginia Tech, and Florida State. Clemson, early January, they got as high as 12th in the top 25. And they had that 10-day COVID pause. Took them a while, Brendan, to kind of regroup and regather themselves.
Yeah, and those COVID pauses are tough for a team, man, just because you're trying to get guys back in shape. You're trying to see how people respond differently. It's just, you know, we're living in these COVID times, and we're all having to adjust on the fly, and Clemson had to deal with that as well.
Foul charge to Nick Honor, his first. It was a 10-day pause, and they had that 1-4 stretch coming out of it. All 4 losses lopsided. Had to just get themselves together like so many teams around the country, but they recovered in time, finished strong enough to gain that at-large bid out of the ACC, and here they are.
And we've seen, not just Clemson, we've seen a lot of teams struggle coming out of COVID pauses because it's not natural. Like, look at how good Baylor was playing before they had to take a COVID pause. And when they came out, the first 4 games, they didn't look like the Baylor team that we saw earlier in the season. So not being able to practice, not getting reps, losing conditioning, all of that comes into play when we talk about these COVID pauses. So it's a little bit of a challenge this year.
Honor, boy, a lot of contact, no foul.
Oh, Johnson looks like he's hurt.
Johnson is in pain. Officials blow the play dead.
I think he fell directly on his hip or his back.
Caleb McConnell, by the way, got his 2nd field goal on that previous sequence, but now the concern on Miles Johnson as the Rutgers athletic trainers come onto the floor. There's your game reset, 7:47 mark of this opening half in Indianapolis. Rutgers a 1-point lead. The good news for the Scarlet Knights, Miles Johnson was able to get up. Saw him kind of walk off just before we went to break. Took a nasty little spill. You see him working on his lower back. Honor underneath.
Oh, yeah.
Brendan, I'm sure you were in a few of those in your career. It's a scary feeling for a big man especially.
Yeah, and he's a big guy, and he got his legs kind of clipped out from under him, so he didn't have any balance when he fell down, and he fell right down on like his low back hip area, straight to the ground. So that's a little painful, but the good news is it looks like he'll be okay.
Got that state-of-the-art equipment.
Oh yeah,
working on his body.
Oh yeah, you got to get one of those. You don't have one of those little massage guns?
Oh yeah,
you got those are key. I got one of those at the house. Best investment I ever made.
We know some people. We'll get you set up.
Oh, I have one. I'm already good. I'm already good. If they want to give me another one, I don't turn down anything but my collar. I'll take anything that's free.
Rod Harper, 3-pointer from the corner, won't go. And then knocked out of bounds into the awaiting arms of Brad Brownell. Know he can still hoop. Played his college basketball about an hour west of here at Division III DePaul University. So many ties, of course, to the state where he grew up in Evansville, and assistant coach early in his coaching career, just up the road here at Indianapolis University. Shot clock at 8. Baker.
That was a very poor possession offensively for Rutgers. They really didn't get anything out of it. I love the way that Harper hustled back and got the charge. But they ran the horn set. No one really set a screen. They didn't cause a problem. Baker didn't come off aggressively. Right here you see Harper taking the charge. He takes a little bit of offense to that. But offensively, the ball can't be stagnant. Clemson wants the game to be low scoring. So Rutgers can't be stagnant. And when you run that horn set, it is imperative that that guard comes off of the big hip to hip and causes a problem, because a lot of times you can either get a direct roll to the basket or you can find the other big on the replace.
The trap made the terrific defensive play on Baker, but then the turnover at the other end. He picks up his 2nd, so you saw him take a seat here as we hit the 7-minute mark, opening half. And Rutgers with possession, holding a 1-point lead. Here's McConnell, who's given them a nice little boost off the bench. Who does Rutgers turn to for some points? And Harper was out of bounds on the catch. Those unforced miscues have been an issue.
Yeah, those are the ones that drive coaches crazy. When you step out of bounds, just unforced errors. You'll live with errors made on aggression where maybe you try to drive to the basket and get a charge, but those type of unforced ones, those are the ones that keep coaches up at night.
So Steve Peichel pacing in front of that Rutgers bench. What a basketball journey it's been for him. Played for Jim Calhoun. Calhoun's first couple of years at Connecticut, right at the beginning of his journey. Will turn out to be a Hall of Fame run.
Looks like Rutgers is trying to switch up the tempo of this game a little bit. They went to a little bit of a press back into a zone. Looks like a matchup 2-3.
Clemson just one field goal over the last 6+ minutes. Sims out to honor from deep.
That's as good a look you're going to get right there. Got to knock that one down.
Tigers are 5 of 20 from the field. Just a 25% clip, but they're only down a point. McConnell. Fight for it, weak side. This will be last touch by Rutgers. Off the hands of Omorier with 6:04 left in the half. House of Highlights, The Reel, is back for Season 3. Host Kenny Beecham sits with top athletes to react to the biggest moments of their careers. Watch now on Facebook Watch. McConnell sits. Paul Mulcahy checks back in as we hit the 6-minute mark before halftime. And it is a final. North Texas has completed the upset over Purdue.
Nice.
As Amir Sims shows you his skill offensively.
I like Sims. I've loved his game all year long, and just takes his time, drives to the basket, nice little running hook off the glass. So many bigs want to stay outside and just shoot. I like the fact that he has versatility. He'll do both. He can shoot that three, but at the same time, he can get to a running hook or a jump hook in the post, and I think all bigs need that type of tool in their toolbox.
Shot clock down to 5. Here's Young trying to find some daylight. Pulls up from deep. No. Sims the rebound. He's been all over the place for the Tigers.
Sims is Mr. Do Everything for Clemson.
Hemingway from 3. Hit one earlier, not that time. Rutgers into the corner. This is Young. That's a 3. Jacob Young, the lone Scarlet Knight on this roster with any NCAA tournament experience. Got to the dance with Texas back in 2018. And he's put Rutgers back in front.
That is
beautiful answer.
That is an excellent cut by Dawes and a great pass by Sims. And now you see another wrinkle to his game. They use him in the elbow. So they're basically moving Sims around like a movable chess piece. They use him on the block, top of the key. Now we're seeing him being featured in the free throw line area.
Young with the turnover after he gave Rutgers their first basket in about 3 minutes. Tournament summary, and already some of the Giants have fallen. Ohio State, which was a lot of people's favorite team, really starting to catch fire second half of the season.
Don't read that second one. Don't read the
stunned.
Second. Don't read that second line. Don't do me like that, Spiro.
It's been a tough early evening for.
We've really bonded today, doing all these games together. Don't tell me about my Tar Heels and Roy Williams losing for the first time in the first round.
Again, another stunner, another Big Ten team to fall just minutes ago. Purdue upset in overtime by North Texas. Incredible. Sims pulls up over Miles Johnson, who's back in. Look at Sims. Cleans up his own mess.
Look at the touch right there. Grabs the rebound, gathers it, and gets right to a floater. Sims has shown you everything that you need to see. I mean, NBA scouts are going to like what this man brings to the table just because there is the versatility. And that's what the league is all about right now. It's about versatility.
Good news for Rutgers. Miles Johnson is back into the game after taking that hard spill just a couple of minutes ago. Harper. 7 on the timer. Harper. Clemson thought he had him tied up. Alex Hemingway doesn't even argue. It'll be a 1-and-1 for Harper and Rutgers when we come back. Late stages first half in this opening round clash between Rutgers and Clemson.
ESCO QQQ, official ETF of the NCAA. And by Experian Boost.
Late stages first half, Clemson holding a 2-point lead on the Scarlet Knights. And now AT&T 5G takes us above the rim for some of the best plays of the night. Hunter Tyson and then Ron Harper Jr.
And that was my play right there. That,
Fierce.
Hey, Spiro, that had me out of my chair real quick. You know, it's the last game. It's not as much energy in this building as we had earlier today, but man, that lifted everybody up out of their seats really, really quickly.
So here is Harper at the free throw line. It'll be a 1-and-1. See Rutgers, we mentioned their issues. They were better down the stretch after that really awful start that impacted them. Certainly didn't help them. Had that little swoon middle part of the year. So there is Peichel, started to tell a story about playing for Jim Calhoun. Calhoun's first couple of years there, he said he learned so much. Basically had a master class of what it was like to build a program from the ground up. And he's always kept those lessons, Brendan, in his back pocket. The relationship between those two men has just grown stronger over the years. And Jim Calhoun, the legend, no doubt a Rutgers fan tonight.
That's tough, man. When you got to build a program from the ground up, when you got to build the culture and sell kids on why they should come to your school, that's an incredibly tough task to do.
Well, Peichel has had the magic touch. Of course, went to Stony Brook, inherited that 4-win team, took that program to its first ever NCAA tournament in 2016. And you see all the stops. Rutgers hired him shortly thereafter. And anyone who's been in the state of New Jersey, who's grown up there and who's followed this program knows how far this Rutgers basketball team has come. An afterthought in the Northeast and really the entire sport for so many years. But here they are in the dance for the first time in 30 years. Just a remarkable turnaround. Harper, a little bit short. And Rutgers now is just 2 of 11 from deep.
Clemson's really trying to run their offense right here. Got a nice little flare screen to an on-ball screen set by Sims. See what Dawes is going to be able to do, if he's going to be able to cook on the perimeter. But I think the better option is, when in doubt, find Mr. Sims inside and see if he can get us a good shot.
It's usually a good idea. Sims, left hand. Not that time, but it's kept alive. Well played by Jonathan Baer, the German national, keeping it alive for the Tigers.
I like the Paul. I like Dawes' game.
Al-Amir Dawes, his second triple of the night.
He's very.
And the Tigers back in front.
He's very, very poised. Very poised. You see, he took his time on that crossover, set him up so he can get right into that jump shot.
Dawes, who began the year as a starter, 14 of their first 15, then a reserve down the stretch. As Mathis unable to put it down.
And you know, Dawes and McKay actually were both on Jim Salmon's Nike Play as AAU team a couple years ago.
There were a lot of connection between those two. Johnson, really not his game in the open floor. This is going to be an offensive foul against Harper.
Oh, I'm about to see that one again, Spiro. Not sure if I agree.
That'll be Harper's first. Look at Nick Honor.
Come on.
That's the kind of effort just to put the officials in a spot where they have to make that call. That's why Brownell has fallen in love with Honor.
Yeah, I mean, it's great hustle by Honor, but with the official being right there, I think that you got to see that play. Harper's going for the ball. There's not much there. You know, I don't think that play should have been called. I think they should be playing on.
Clemson try to take advantage. $1:20 left before halftime. Honor.
Floater.
Good look at it, not that time. Rebound cleared by McConnell. Rutgers has missed 7 of its last 8 shots, no field goals in nearly 4 minutes, and they turn it over again. Reminder coming up, AT&T at the half, scores and highlights. All the latest NCAA tournament news, it's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Steve Peichel, Brendan, just trying to find the right mix of guys here to jumpstart this offense.
Well, if you have Clemson's half-court defense is very good. They're active. They come out when they come out of timeouts, they'll switch up their coverage on ball screens. But more importantly, they find ways to turn you over in the half-court. And this is a good way to not have to play against that defense. Get out in transition. I see you, Mr. Young, and he's flexing on him too. Jim, I told you I'm all about the swag and the antics. I love all that. I'm here for all of it.
Brad Brownell wants a timeout with 43.8 left before halftime. It was exactly what Rutgers needed. Jacob Young, defense to offense. And the Scarlet Knights showing a heartbeat. It's a 1-point game on TBS. Rutgers looking for any kind of offense, and Jacob Young, the Houston kid, the Texas transfer, doing it with the steal and then in the open floor. A 50-year senior, Brendan, making it happen for the Scarlet Knights.
Excellent defense by Mr. Young. He anticipated that play the whole way, ran through the passing lane and finished with the dunk, and then gave you a little bit of a mean mug, a little bit of a flex, you know. Subtle flex, slight flex.
Career season for Young in basically every major statistical category, as he has cut the Clemson lead down to a point. Final 38 seconds before the intermission. Here's Nick Honor, guarded by Young. Rutgers does have a foul to give. Shot clock at 10. Bear wants to take Harper, elevates, too much, knocked out of bounds, back to Rutgers with 23.3 on the clock.
That's good defense by Harper. He used his body, didn't give up any angles, and just made sure that he didn't foul.
Steve Peichel will take a 30-second timeout, try to draw it up. Rutgers down a point. Final seconds, TBS. First round coverage continues tomorrow with the Nissan NCAA tip-off show on True TV. It'll begin at noon Eastern, then 16 games across CBS, True TV, TBS, and TNT. You decide the games you want to watch. 23.3 seconds left, opening half. Rutgers has led by as many as 3. Neither team has been able to pull away. What kind of shot can the Scarlet Knights get here? Rutgers is in the bonus. Baker inside, underneath, Johnson, no. Second effort, no. 4 seconds. Out of the fray, Trapp to the cup, but he puts it down.
That's a big-time play right there. That's a big-time play by Trapp. Hustled right there, got the rebound, and knew that he had enough time to push it the length of the court. Didn't get hurried, just finished right over Mr. Harper Jr. I like what you're doing, Mr. Trapp.
Brad Brownell calls him Mr. Versatility.
I see why.
That's a 4-point swing. Johnson, a couple of good looks underneath, couldn't hit. And then Trapp going coast to coast to give Clemson a 3-point halftime lead. We'll send you to AT&T at the half after these messages. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Ready to roll with second half action. Rutgers and Clemson. Lowe's presents our first half stats. 3-point lead for the Tigers. Neither team able to create much distance on the scoreboard, but you see the struggles. Both teams 3-point shooting as we get set for the final 20 minutes. Great to have you back with us, Spiro. Brendan will hear from Lauren Shahadi in just a couple of minutes. Brendan, both teams struggling to generate some offense, and that really has been the story so far.
Yeah, both teams have struggled to generate offense, but the problem for Rutgers is on top of struggling to generate offense, they have 10 turnovers. They have to cut the turnover battle down. I mean, the turnovers down. You have to win the turnover battle if you're Rutgers. So I'm going to be looking to see, will Rutgers be taking care of the ball, because that's going to be key against this stifling Clemson half-court defense.
5 ties, 7 lead changes as we throw it down to Lauren.
Yeah, Coach Brownell was almost laughing. He said, boy, did we get too excited and rush those shots. As for overall pace, he said, it's fine. This is our game. It suits us just okay. I just want them out of the paint. It's imperative, which is interesting because Peichel told me, I told my guys, attack the paint constantly. Don't let up and limit their transition opportunities.
You know, Lauren, sometimes the enormity of the moment, even for major conference teams, you have to fight through those early game jitters. We'll see if these two clubs have settled down here as we sit in for the final 20 minutes.
Whether you're the school from the ACC or if you're a school from the Pac-12 or wherever, it doesn't really matter. The NCAA tournament is a different type of feel because of the finality. One and you're done. So that all these games have a lot more energy to them, and they have a lot more meaning. So sometimes kids come out a little bit juiced, and they come out a little bit more nervous than they normally would if this was a regular game being played in conference.
Well, Clyde Trapp had a terrific play to finish the first half. He starts the second half right where he left off. Into the corner. This is Mulcahy. and that's a three-point jack.
That's a good offensive set right there. Excellent offensive set. Got some good action on the strong side. Ended up with a 3 on the weak side.
Mulcahy, a Jersey kid, grew up in Bayonne, big-time high school career in Gladstone, New Jersey at Gill St. Bernard's, 30 minutes north of the Rutgers campus in New Brunswick. His first points. And then Young off to steal as Rutgers playing with some juice. Harper. And this is going to be a pushing foul. I believe it's on Dawes, and it is. That'll be his first.
Clemson personal foul number 2, Al-Amir Dawes.
That's a big-time bucket right there, coming off the screen and rolling. Now you see Johnson. Nice little dribble handoff. Strong side corner. You can't help off strong side corner. If you do, normally bad things will happen. This time it leads to a 3 from Mulcahy.
Just over a minute into the second half. Limited fans here tonight, but those Rutgers fans that have made the trek from New Brunswick starting to make themselves heard. Harper, tough fade, had to hurry with the shot clock about to expire, unable to draw iron, and it's a Rutgers turnover.
And that's what Clemson does. If they can get you to play, they can force you to play against their half-court defense, they can really make it tough on you because that's what they do. They're not really going to pressure the ball. That's not really their style. That's not really their MO. You're not going to see them come out in a lot of pressure sets. But at the same time, in the half court, they find ways to frustrate you.
And Brendan, can I just say, boy, it's one thing to have the tournament back. We're all ecstatic as Dawes misses the mid-range jumper. But to be in an arena with fans.
Oh, man. The game is all about the fans. It's all about the fans and the energy. Sometimes as a player, you know, you can get locked into doing the same old thing. Oh, we have another basketball game. But when the fans come in and bring that energy, it's something totally different. And yeah, that is definitely a carry there by Ron Harper Jr.
Pop couldn't have gotten away with that in the NBA.
Now, you couldn't have got away with that at the Rutgers.
So Rutgers with 10 made field goals tonight. They have 12 turnovers. And back-to-back miscues. Trapp coming with the heat.
Sims once again threading the needle with the backdoor pass, and Trapp paying it off with the jam.
These Tigers have some athletes. Last 6 points for the Tigers scored by Clyde Trapp. Going back to the first half. Johnson the skip. This is Young. 3 to shoot. Three-pointer from the corner won't go for Baker. Shot clock resets, kept alive by Johnson. But an excellent closeout, Brendan. You see Sims, how quickly he gets out to the three-point shooter.
And that's what they want to see at the next level. Can you impact the basketball in the paint and on the perimeter? You see Sims sliding his feet with Mulcahy in the corner.
Boy, Baker attacking the rim. And Tyson is whistled for his first.
I like Trapp right there, just going down the lane with aggression.
It's his first, team foul number 2.
And you see, when you go down the lane hard like that, you make the other team not even want to rotate over, because Harper Jr. looked like he thought about going over there for the block, but then once he saw that Trapp was really serious about finishing above the rim, decided to sit that one out.
So here is Geo Baker, a senior. Talked about how far he's come. He was Peichel's first recruit. And Peichel told us when he showed up in New Brunswick, he weighed 145 pounds. There were doubts about whether or not he could be a Big Ten player at a high level.
Wow.
Wasn't highly rated out of high school. Attended Proctor Academy, grew up in Derry, New Hampshire. And what a career he's put together for this Rutgers program.
You know, they say it's not where you start, it's how you finish. And you can tell the work that Baker's put into his body. Not sure what he weighs now, but it's definitely not 145 pounds. Looks real good and lean, but you can tell he's put on some muscle mass. He's worked hard to be at the position that he's in right now.
He has been one of the heart and soul players in the Steve Peichel rebuild of Rutgers. Open 3 on a deep shot. Won't go for Tyson as we cross the 17-minute mark of the second half. And Clemson holding a 3-point lead. Baker thought about it, gets it back from Johnson. Still 14 to shoot. Baker fires and hits.
Everybody on Clemson forgot Baker had the ball there for a second. Clemson did an excellent job, and then some type of miscommunication, and Baker was left wide open for the jumper.
Third team all-conference in the Big Ten last season. Average touched over 10 points for Rutgers this year. Deep 3, and Trapp is feeling it.
They're getting a lot off that action in the middle where they're using Sims as a facilitator, almost like a pseudo point guard. He's hitting guys on back doors. He hit Trapp on the back door a possession or two ago, and then that time he comes off with the dribble handoff. They're getting a lot out of that set. If I'm Clemson, I'm going to continue to use that. I don't think Johnson really feels comfortable playing out there against Sims.
Trapp has now scored their last 9 points. A kid who averages only 7. Mulcahy got it. And now Rutgers is starting to catch fire.
You see how much more comfortable these kids look in the second half? That first half, it was like they were trying to feel their way through it. Like the moment was too big for both squads. But now we're seeing these teams settle in offensively.
Rutgers, all kinds of struggles from deep in the first half. You see what they've done since. Sims, now to Trapp. Puts it on the deck with 6 on the timer. Here he comes looking for more, and he is whacked. It's on Mulcahy. That's his second. And right now, Clyde Trapp is putting the Tigers on his back, but both teams catching fire.
And we see my man Mulcahy right here with the 3-ball corner pocket.
Well, both of these teams starting to catch fire, and this young man, Clyde Trapp, the senior, showing you what he's got in the toolbox.
Listen, when you talk about versatility, you talk about Mr. Trapp. You see him with the pull-up J, then the dunk, and now he finishes it off with the 3. That's what his game is all about. When we asked Coach Purnell about Trapp, the first thing he said was he's versatile and has a high basketball IQ.
See what he's done their last 9 points. Let's get more now with Lauren.
I'm just looking at Clyde's Twitter account. He tweeted, "Clemson Grit goes dancing." Coach Brownell branded this program Clemson Grit, which he defines as passion, perseverance towards a long-term goal. Coach told me young people, they don't always think long-term. My goal is to get them to have undying belief in themselves for life. That's my job as a coach, and that's the definition of Clemson Grit, and Trapp's a believer.
Yeah, what a run it's been for Brad Brownell, Lauren. Great stuff. Back in his home state, got this team to the Sweet 16 in 2018, a year in which they were picked to finish 13th in the ACC, eventually losing in that Sweet 16 game to Kansas. But they've got a chance. Up 3, Brendan, as we hit the 15-minute mark, second half. Two teams that at least till this point appear to be pretty evenly matched.
Very evenly matched. Both of these teams sometimes go on scoring lulls. They'll challenge you defensively in the half court. And at the same time, they have some players that they can go to as far as when we talk about Sims and Harper Jr. that are very, very talented. So these teams are very similar. And it's going to be I think turnovers is going to tell the story of who wins this basketball game.
Miles Johnson on the putback. And that brings the Scarlet Knights to within a point. Nice backdoor cut. Look at the passing ability of Clemson. First Sims and then Dawes underneath. Tyson the recipient.
Sims with the hockey assist right there. But Sims at the top of the key is a problem. Because if Johnson comes out there and tries to pressure him, Sims can go right by him. But if he doesn't pressure him, now Sims can see the whole floor and he's finding his teammates for backdoor cuts. And that's leading to points in the paint for Clemson.
Brendan, you don't see too many centers lead their team in assists. It's exactly what Amir Sims did this year. Led them in basically every major offensive category.
And it's because of his versatility. So no matter what type of scheme you have against him, if you're playing one-on-one, they'll just let him go to work on the block. If you want to send some double teams, they'll play him out there in the middle of the court like they're doing right now. And he can pick you apart with the drive, the jumper, or the pass.
Harper, corner 3, won't go. Knocked out of bounds underneath. And it goes back to the Tigers.
Not really a big fan of that three-point shot right there for Harper. You see momentum's kind of going in Clemson's favor. Harper only 32% three-point shooter. In that type of moment, if you're going to take a 3, it needs to be one where you're wide open and it's created for you. You don't want to take a wild 3 because your team needs a quality possession.
Harper is 0 of 6 on three-pointers in the second half, and we haven't even played 7 minutes. Can he get his shot straight? Tyson, a little bit of contact, well played defensively by Harper. But Rutgers looking for some offense, down 3. McConnell had a couple of buckets in the first half, and he picks up where he left off.
Got the shooter's bounce right there.
Here is Dawes, finds his spot, not that time. Rebound cleared by McConnell. And now Rutgers a chance to retake the lead. Young!
How confident is he? Spiro, how confident is Jacob Young?
And Rutgers back in front.
Uh-oh.
McConnell
and the Trapper getting into it. It's getting heated in here. It's getting spicy, Spiro.
McConnell letting them know about it as the Scarlet Knights punching back have retaken the lead in Indy. Be out of bounds, but it isn't. Intensity starting to ratchet up. Clemson and Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights moving in front, 2-point lead. And the difference has been the three-point shooting. Both teams struggling opening 20 minutes. Different stories since, especially for Rutgers. I said earlier, Ron Harper was 0 for 6 from 3 in the second half. That's his line for the night. But despite that, Rutgers finding some openings and starting to stroke it, Brendan, from deep.
Yeah, Rutgers are starting to figure this Clemson defense out a little bit. And I like what Jacob Young has done in the second half. And they're trying to figure out how they can score against this Clemson half-court defense.
Can Clemson now answer? At-large bid out of the ACC, 16-7. A team that climbed as high as 12th in the AP poll in early January. Bears jumper won't go.
And man, oh man, Jacob Young is looking to push the tempo every time he gets a rebound, or every time the Scarlet Knights get a rebound, he's looking to push it and get up court. But I like how he's smart too. Just because he pushes it to get it up court doesn't mean he's going to run into a bad shot. If he doesn't see anything immediate, pull the ball back out and run you some half-court offense.
Here's Young, 8 on the timer. Guarded by Honor. Young unable to shake him. Down to 3 to shoot. Harper, backdoor, taking contact, look out. Sims trying to get him cleanly and helped him brace his fall. Good sportsmanship there as Harper to the free throw line for 2. Harper, Brendan, the presence of mind to cut back door. He saw that wide open seam to the cup.
Well, Harper's a smart basketball player. And this is the guy that's on the dean's list, so he understands if I'm not hitting threes, I got to do something else. And he cut back door right there, tried to get himself a little layup, but Sims had other ideas with a very, very hard foul.
Harper mentioned all Big Ten third team this season. He got off to that incredible start. Through the end of December, he was averaging better than 23 points. He was at 50% from deep. Only Gonzaga's Corey Kispert was playing and putting up numbers in Division I at that level through the first couple of months of the season. He did cool off a little bit from three-point land, but as skilled and multifaceted a scorer as Steve Peichel has had since he's been at Rutgers. You see the run. There, muffed it for a moment. As Clemson has fallen into a 4-point hole as we cross the 12-minute mark. High pass and they turn it over. And these Scarlet Knights fans making themselves heard here in Indianapolis. Which of these two teams is going to punch its ticket to the second round? Watch Masters live on Paramount Plus. Get coverage of featured groups, Amen Corner, and holes 15 and 16. Just visit ParamountPlus.com to try for free. It has been a different Rutgers offense, Brendan, since halftime.
Yeah, and a lot of it just comes down to running the court and getting out in transition and scoring before Clemson can set up. You see right here, Rutgers on the break. Jacob Young just runs hard. He just runs hard, runs to his spot, and then he pulls up from 3, and you see the excitement and you see the energy after that shot. Scoring the ball does something for you. It just excites you. And we see Jacob Young has been very excitable in this second half.
Young coming back, looking for more.
Johnny on the spot. Johnny on the spot.
9 straight for Rutgers, and it has been a quick hitting run. They've done it in the last 90 seconds. Just under 2 minutes as you see that graphic. Largest lead of the night before that answer. First basket of the night for Nick Honor. Here's Harper coming down the paint, going glass, no. Offensive rebound, McConnell. Good look at it, and he can't hit. Sims clears. We come up on the 11-minute mark. Here's Dawes. Underneath, taking contact, boy, everything but the finish.
Yeah, that was an excellent drive by Dawes. Just couldn't pay it off with the finish right there. But on the other end,
McConnell
coming up a little bit short, but
and he cleans up his own miss.
that's why they call him the X factor. He does all the dirty work, all the little things. That's back-to-back possessions for Rutgers where McConnell actually gets an offensive rebound. So he's a guard, but he'll go down there and rebound as well.
Caleb McConnell, 8 points off the bench for Steve Peichel tonight. And Rutgers wins this game. He will have played a huge hand with their second unit. Mid-range jumper, no from Dawes. Offensive rebound, Sims, and then stripped out of bounds with 18 to shoot.
And you see McConnell takes the jumper. He knows it's short off the rip. Doesn't fade back, goes right in, gets the rebound, takes it away from Sims and finishes it up. And you can see the Rutgers faithful, they're starting to feel it.
By the way, Brendan, Amir Sims hasn't scored. You have to go all the way back to the 3:58 mark of the opening half. 3 of 10 shooting. Sims, their leading scorer, offensive star. Baseline jumper from Tyson won't go. Here's Young, setting the table, dropping a dime for Mulcahy. And Rutgers has kicked its offense into high gear. Clemson wants a timeout.
Clemson needs a timeout.
13-2 run by the Scarlet Knights on TBS. Well, the Scarlet Knights doing it at both ends of the floor. And that defense, Brendan, igniting their break.
And it all starts from Jacob Young pushing tempo, McKay just getting out and running. That is what you want to do to a team like Clemson. You want to press the action every time. And we saw in the previous possession, Jacob Young pressed the action. He didn't get anything. But then he goes right back and he presses the action again, and this time he gets a layup for a teammate. That is what it's all about. Keep running, keep pressing the action, make Clemson get back so you don't have to make Clemson get back, and if not, take advantage so you don't have to go up against this solid Clemson half-court defense.
You see the run by Rutgers. What a difference first half to second half. As it looks like Mulcahy is being told something by the officials.
Somebody has blood? Looks like blood on somebody.
Yeah, it might be Nick Honor, as he will walk towards the Clemson bench. An athletic trainer will try to get him cleaned up. And a chance for Brad Brownell to talk about how they're going to get their offense going, Brendan. They've missed 7 of their last 8 shots. Clemson, 31% shooting in the first half. Not much better since. And who do they turn to here for some points?
I mean, you'd like to say Sims. I know he's only 3 for 10, but I feel like maybe you call something for him on the low block. Or if not, keep running this action in the middle of the court with Sims, because even though Clemson hasn't hit shots, I've liked what they've gotten because Johnson kind of sags back on the screen. Johnson is the type of big that can move his feet and switch to pick and roll. So Clemson can still get good action in the middle of the court if they use Sims in that fashion.
Jacob Young called for his first. Clemson was the lowest scoring team in the ACC this season, better than 64 per game. And right now they're going through one of their dry spells at the worst possible time.
Well, we said the magic number starting this game for Clemson was 66. They're 11-0 when they get to 66 points. Doesn't look like they're getting to 66 tonight.
Critical turnover by Honor. The Fordham transfer. Young thought about it, changed his mind. Now to McConnell. Still plenty of time to
Johnson
shoot.
a look. He's working hard in there. Pay it off for the big fella.
Mathis puts it on the deck. Mulcahy out to McConnell. That's a 3, and he buries it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's danger time for Clemson. A lot of time left in this ball game, but you don't want to let this thing get out of hand.
Caleb McConnell, a kid, again, who only averages 5 points per game with 11 off the bench, and Sims with the answer. Massive play for Clemson, and a chance at 3.
Boy, oh boy, did Clemson need that. And that's just a nice drive to the basket, and that's the thing that you love about Sims, that he'll give it to you with the left hand, the right hand, it really doesn't matter.
He is a young man who is just oozing personality, loves conversation, such a interesting background. He actually can communicate in sign language. He's been an academic stud, won the Skip Prosser Award, top scholar athlete in ACC basketball, such a prestigious honor.
Wow,
what a career
he can
he's
communicate
had.
in sign language?
Yes, he can.
Oh, wow.
A lot of depth to that young man. And what a future he has in front of him, whether it's basketball or anything else. I'm hoping to get the Tigers into the round of 32. We cross the 9-minute mark. Here's McConnell. There's the old heat check. Not that time, a little bit too much. And Clemson controls with Clyde Trapp. Dangerous pass. Tyson wide open. Got it.
And he knew that was good as soon as it left his hands. Anytime you see somebody shoot the ball, Spiro, and start moving back down the other way, they know it's good. Especially when you're a shooter, you know when that thing feels good coming off your fingers.
Boy, how badly did Clemson need that? And just like that, it's a 5-point game. 6 unanswered for the Tigers. Rutgers resets. This is Mulcahy. 7 on the shot clock. Mathis. Rebound cleared by Tyson, poked away by Young. Who touched it last? Clemson.
I like Young. Young is winning me over today, man. He has so much energy. I always love to play with guys like that because on days where you don't have energy, they pick you up and raise your level.
Well, after all the games are over, our studio team will have all the highlights and analysis inside March Madness presented by Buick. That's later tonight only on True TV. And they will have plenty to break down. The Big Ten taking one on the chin today. Ohio State, Purdue, and Michigan State all going down. Ohio State in a stunner against Oral Roberts. And Brendan, the madness has officially begun. Mathis, boy, pretty glide through the air. Couldn't put it down, weak side, and it's a fight, loose ball. McConnell. Shot clock did reset, and then they cough it up. Baker couldn't squeeze it. Here comes Bear. And Baker reaching behind him is called for the foul. Some critical miscues. Looks like Baker may have jammed the finger. Rutgers and Clemson in a fight in Indianapolis. 5-point Rutgers lead. You can watch live games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now, ncaa.com/March Madness, or download the app today. Let's get you updated with our game summary. 5-point Rutgers lead in the 7-10 matchup in the Midwest region. 7:48 left. See some of the key numbers, Brendan. What are we looking for here down the stretch?
Well, we're looking for who's going to be able to execute offensively, who's going to be able to knock down some of the open threes when they get the opportunity, and last but not least, take care of the basketball.
Clemson, that Sweet 16 run in 2018.
Honor wasn't close on that one, but that was excellent execution. Nice baseline drive, then Sims comes back with a crackback screen, and Honor comes right off of it, wide open. The execution was perfect, just couldn't get the shot.
Here's Harper taking on some contact, no. Unable to bank it in, and Harper selling out and getting his team an extra possession. Rutgers in the dance for the first time in 30 years. Head coach of that team was our colleague, good buddy, Bob Wenzel. Haven't won in the tournament. Have to go all the way back till 1983, 38 years. Trying to end that long drought tonight. There's a pull-up, baseline jumper, won't go for Hunter, and the putback.
Now that's a
huge bucket.
That's a great putback by Bear. Excellent controlled tip.
First points of the night for Bear, the senior born in Germany, in the city of Wiesbaden. And he picks a heck of a time to get his first points of the night. McConnell. Well, he felt some pressure. Trapp, good close, Brenton, from the back.
Yeah, and the fact that Trapp didn't give up on the play is why McConnell missed that shot.
Honor desperately trying to find his stroke. Who touched it last? And the officials say it's going the other way. Oh, the new TBS comedy, Chad is a high school freshman who wants to be popular by any means necessary. Some of us can identify. Check out Chad, a new TBS comedy. It premieres April the 6th. Quick timeout taken by Steve Peichel. Rutgers clinging to a 3-point lead on TBS. Oh, Houston lopsided opening round win over Cleveland State in that 2-15 matchup. Now they await the winner of this one. Clemson and Rutgers. Tigers have led by as many as 5, but Rutgers turning it up in the second half. Opened up an 11-point lead. But Brendan, it's down to 3 here with 6:15 remaining.
And I really like the way that Clemson responded once Rutgers opened up that 11-point lead. Sims goes right in there, gets an and one. Then right after that, Clemson responds with a nice three-pointer, and that got them right back into this ballgame.
Yeah, Clemson's went on an 8-0 run at that point. And it's a brand new game again. Just when you thought that the Scarlet Knights were starting to pull away. Shot clock at 8. Harper down the paint. They set up Omorier. Fight for the loose ball. Mathis, they didn't get
that ball
iron,
didn't
so
hit the rim.
Shot clock didn't reset. 1. Mathis had the fire, and it's going Clemson's way. Not exactly the possession that Steve Pikiell was looking for there, as Mathis will sit and Jacob Young back in. Here comes Miles Johnson as well. Omorier will sit. As both coaches, Brendan, want to get their big guns in here as we gear up for the final 5 and change. And suddenly Rutgers' offense has gone cold. You saw them on that graphic. They've missed 8 straight shots.
Well, it's winning time. You got to get your best players in.
Hunter, 1-point game.
And I like the way Hunter just set his man up, coming off a quick pin down, came off of it, shoulder to shoulder, and then showed the ball, got the pump fake. Nice little jumper there, paid it off.
Hunter, a sophomore from Atlanta. Here's Young, finds his spot, and he buries a 3.
Speaking of paying things off, Young, there's no fear in his game. When he comes off a screen, if your big man is not at the level, he's going to let it fly. He has that confidence to him, that swag.
Young, the 5th-year senior from Houston, having a career season. Huge shot for the Scarlet Knights. Sims trying to answer, and he does.
Are you kidding me, Spiro?
And he's fouled.
How many big men are going to hit you with a crossover from the three-point line and then go down the lane and hit you with a smooth lefty floater? Like, look at this shot. Man, Sims is so talented. Johnson can't even believe that shot went in. But he better believe it.
Foul charge to Miles Johnson. The smoothness to this kid's game. You see the physique, the size, and the skill set. He's also on the National Defensive Player of the Year watch list this year. Nothing he can't do at a high level. And a 3-point play cuts Rutgers' lead to a point with 4:46 left in Indianapolis. Harper. Now to Johnson. Doesn't want any part of Sims. Harper pulled the string.
Oh, wow.
Off the broken play, it's McConnell.
Right place at the right time.
McConnell with 13 of Rutgers' 14 bench points tonight.
I'm going right back to Sims. I'm sorry.
Bear goes backdoor. The fake by Trepp, and he's got a chance at 3. Clemson can tie it at the free throw line. And how big has this kid been tonight? The senior from Eastover, South Carolina.
And that's just smart basketball. Trepp comes off the screen, realizes that Johnson didn't come over enough because he was worried about Sims, takes his time, gets the and one. And you know, Trepp and McConnell kind of got into it early in the game, so Trepp definitely wanted to get the and one on McConnell.
So here is Trepp, young man who overcame an ACL tear a few years ago. Has shown so much resiliency. 3-point play to tie this game as we come up on the 4-minute mark left. Again, the winner of this one advances to take on Houston in the round of 32. This is McConnell, and he has been feeling it.
And this ball is really sticking right now for Rutgers, really sticking. And McConnell got a foul right there, but that's not what you want. A lot of dribble at the top of the key. Everybody's staring at him. That's the easiest way to defend somebody.
Big free throws coming up from McConnell. All tied as we come down the home stretch on TBS.
Today and told them that we want to dance here. That's our goal, is to dance, and they like to dance. But I want to dance on the court, not in the nightclub, right?
Steve Peichel at his introductory press conference March of 2016 certainly raised some eyebrows, but when you consider the program that he inherited and the number of years that this Rutgers team and program was such an afterthought in the state of New Jersey, 7-win team that he inherited. They were 1-17 in the Big Ten. At one point, 32 straight losses in Big Ten play. Brendan, to consider where they were and where they are now, a chance to move on to the second round. What a turnaround and a massive shot for Geo Baker to put Rutgers back in front.
Listen, he talks about wanting to dance. Baker comes right out of that time. Baker comes right out of that timeout, gets a nice three. He was dancing in the corner, wide open.
Tigers trying to answer.
Wants him to dance responsibly.
Trapp puts it on the deck. And look at McConnell doing everything for Rutgers. Critical turnover. And now Baker and the Scarlet Knights trying to turn it into points. Baker backdoor to McConnell, and this is going to be an offensive foul on Baker on the pass. And that's his second.
That's excellent defense right there. Giving up your body for your team, standing in there. Clearly a charge as well. Clearly a charge.
Just beautifully done by Chase Hunter. Sacrificing his body, as Brendan points out.
You know, you're not supposed to leave your feet to pass, Spiro. That's a basketball no-no.
And you can feel that intensity starting to get tight here at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Which of these two teams will advance to take on the Cougars? Sims, beautiful drop step. Johnson was there to bother the shot.
That's a great block by Johnson, because it looked like Sims had excellent position inside, but Johnson did not give up on that play.
Johnson hasn't had a big night in terms of statistics, but a huge denial there. Young the kick, Baker down the paint, out to Young. That's a corner three, well short. Look at Sims in the open floor, showing the handle to the cup, and he'll shoot free throws.
Man, he is hard to guard. Anytime your center can get a defensive rebound and break the length of the court with a guard in his hip and still find a way to make a play, that's a tough guy to guard.
Sims like a runaway freight train, and he'll shoot a couple of free throws. Get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament at ncaa.com. See what Sims has done at the line on the season. Misses on the first. And that is their first missed free throw of the night. They're 7 of 8.
He doesn't miss many. He's an 83% free throw shooter, so he normally knocks it down and he cashes in at the line.
All ACC second team. Virginia native out of Blue Ridge High School. And he's brought Clemson to within 2 as we'll get a timeout. Steve Peichel takes it, 2:23 left. Rutgers by 2 over Clemson. There's your game reset. Each team with 1 timeout, 2:23 left. You see Rutgers, they'll have possession as they hold a 2-point lead. And Brendan, this is what you live for. This is the moment that these kids have dreamt about, trying to continue their March Madness dream here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, and it's a tight ball game. It's been going back and forth. Momentum has been swinging to both sides, and these are the moments, Spiro, that you talk about, that you dream about. Having big-time impact moments in the NCAA tournament. These are the type of moments that you remember for the rest of your life.
Brendan certainly lived it. A couple of Final Fours with Carolina. And we have enjoyed this. What a second half between Rutgers and Clemson. Took both teams a while to get their scoring games going, but boy, have they turned it up. This is Baker. Johnson was coming to set a screen, then backs away. Denied to shoot. Baker from 3. Offensive rebound, Johnson, and they get a fresh 20. Johnson with some big plays. Had the block a couple of minutes ago, and an offensive rebound right here. 4th offensive rebound of the night for Johnson. Baker, the fake, fires. A little bit short. Rebound Tyson. Clemson can tie or take the lead on a 3.
And Clemson goes right back to the set.
Here comes Sims, the kick out front. trip from 3.
Clemson really likes that set with Sims at the top of the key. They can use him as a pass catcher, or they can use him as a facilitator. Looks like Johnson's a little bit hobbled.
Oh boy, Rutgers may have to take a timeout here. They only have 1 left. You don't want to use it. Peichel thinking about it and seeing if Johnson can walk it off.
And the thing that really hurts him is on the other end is that,
and they cough it up.
Yeah, the thing that hurts him on the other end is Sims is so mobile that if Johnson has to guard him and he's gimpy and he's compromised, Sims is going to go right by him.
Boy, what a tough break for Rutgers. Again, down to their final timeout. Peichel didn't want to take it there. So basically was playing with 4 players with Johnson out of the play, and then they turn it over.
I can't really.
Officials say, beg your pardon, last touch by Clemson. Officials are looking at the replay monitor, but it is Rutgers ball. 4 seconds to shoot. See the last sequence.
Yeah,
with Hunter touching it last.
Ball.
Clear call for the officials to make. They have to hurry here. 3 to shoot. McConnell fade away from the corner, short. Rebound Sims.
Clemson has numbers. He got to push it. Got to push it. Okay, he did an excellent job hustling back to the play, but they had numbers for a quick second.
Tyson rises, short. Offensive rebound in the corner, and now Clemson is going to take its final timeout and let that drama build a little bit more.
And this game is really, it was ugly in the first half, Spiro, but after halftime, both these teams really settled in, giving us a really exciting game right now. And I feel like if you're Clemson, it has to go through Sims. It really does, whether it's him scoring or it's him facilitating. He's your guy. Johnson's a little bit banged up, and then at the same time, he's a big guy that can hit free throws as well.
You saw Miles Johnson getting that ankle worked on. Brendan, the other big number there is the team fouls on Clemson. So they have to, if they miss here, they have to give 2 fouls to put Rutgers at the free throw line. So that looms large. 40 seconds left. And some of these fans can't bear to watch. Rutgers looking for its first NCAA tournament win in 38 years. Houston awaits the winner in a Sunday date in the second round. Clemson has not scored a field goal in the last 3 minutes and 32 seconds. What play did they draw up with their season on the line?
I draw something up for Amir Sims on the block. I know he's been doing well at the top of the key, but with Johnson out, look at that lineup for Rutgers. Everybody is small out there. Ron Harper Jr. is now playing the 5. So I'd let Sims get comfortable, maybe run a play where he cuts to the block, gets the ball, and I'll live or die with whatever he does. If I'm a coach and my best player makes or misses the shot, if he misses the shot, I can live with that. But I want to get the ball in my best player's hands.
Clemson out of timeouts, must inbound right here. They go to Sims, and here we go. Sims comes down the paint, he traveled with it. Harper able to get in his chest, and Sims can't believe it.
This is excellent defense by Harper. He gets down low, doesn't foul, keeps his chest right there.
36.9. Again, Clemson has to give up a couple of fouls here.
They're going to play it out. They're going to play it out. They're going to try to get a stop and break back the other way.
No reason to foul yet. They're just going to play it straight up.
Only about
15 to shoot.
Only about a 6-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Now here comes the trap.
Tyson coming over to help. Baker underneath, dangerous pass. He gets it back and lays it up and in. And it's a 2-possession lead for the Scarlet Knights. What an incredible sequence.
And Harper with the block.
Hunter's 3 partially deflected. And Rutgers is seconds away from the round of 32.
I mean, you can't draw it up. Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. Baker makes the pass. Harper gets bumped by Sims, and then the ball bounces right back to Baker. Nobody from Clemson available on the backside. Baker lays it in easily. And then on the other end, Harper with the excellent defense gets his hand on the ball. This one's over. It's in the books.
Jacob Young dribbles it out, and it is over in Indy. The Scarlet Knights of Rutgers with their first NCAA tournament victory in 38 years.
They said they wanted them dancing, but not in the nightclubs. I think this was the type of dancing they were talking about. And let's look at the excitement. This is what the tournament's all about. These kids are so excited. They're so happy. The Rutgers fans are pumped. They understand what this win means.
All the lean years that this fan base fought through and dealt with. They waited 30 years to see their Scarlet Knights in the big dance. And the party is going to continue at least for a couple of more days here in Indianapolis.
And you gotta love it. This team thought they were gonna make the tournament last year. Tournament gets canceled. They gotta persevere. They come back, they make it this year. Not only do they make it, they go out there and they get a win.
Think of all the emotions that these kids have experienced last year, as Brendan just pointed out. Thought they were NCAA tournament bound. The streak was just about to end. Then the agonizing news that the tournament had been canceled. Think of those seniors that lost out on their chance. Shaq Carter, Kwasi Uboa, Joey Downs. Still such a big part in terms of the emotions of this current team. And they are no doubt experiencing the joy and the jubilation of this victory tonight as we throw it downstairs to Lauren.
Coach, you wanted to dance. You're dancing. It's been 30 years since Rutgers has been here. Why is this the group?
You know, this group is just tough. They've been tough for 2 years. Proud of them. They defended. Clemson's really good. That's a really good basketball team that plays great defense. We had enough grit and enough Jersey tough to get ourselves a win today. And real proud that we're advancing.
What did you tell them in that final huddle?
Well, I mean, we've been there before, and you know, our defense usually carries us on those possessions, and we did a good job. But how about Geo wins the game on a rebound, makes the layup for us? So, you know, just proud of our guys. It's been a long year. It's been 2 years, really, and they keep plugging away, and don't count us out because we're tough.
And it's been 1 year in this very arena since you were told to pack your bags and go home. A full circle moment for you and this crew?
I mean, it really was a bad memory. Last year just came quickly to an end, but you know, just proud that we've been able to persevere and stick to it. Rutgers University is a great place. We got great fans. They're all here today, as many of them as could come, and I'm glad they were here to witness us.
And now a date with Houston up next. How does that sound, Coach?
It sounds good. I know they're really good, and they got a great coach, so we'll enjoy this for 2 seconds before we start thinking about that.
Thanks for your time. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations to Steve Pikiell. What a moment for him. What a moment for Pat Hobbs, their athletic director, who just 5 months into his tenure brought Pikiell to New Brunswick, and they will be celebrating tonight. It'll be Rutgers and Houston in a Sunday matchup in the round of 32, and they are partying tonight in New Brunswick. What a moment for Rutgers as they advance into the second round, and their March Madness dream continues. Tournament games continue now live on CBS, True TV, and TNT. For Brendan, Lauren, Spiro Dita saying so long from Banker's Life. You've been watching the NCAA tournament on TBS.